Really good practice today. Very physical. In all candor, man, I woke up this morning and very anxious to get it because we had this marked as a day that was going to be an extremely physical practice. And you know, you just always keep your fingers crossed that when you do that, you're preparing your team, and when you leave there, you still have everyone pretty healthy. And didn't see anyone that suffered anything today. So we got a lot of great work in live situations and third downs and red zone and tight red zone. So it was very physical. Went back and forth, good competition between both offense and defense, and it's about as well as I can leave feeling a practice. I'm leaving that one feeling that way. Typically I leave thinking, gosh, our defense stunk today, or gosh, our offense stunk today, and it's hard to feel great, but today I saw some really good things on both sides.
Anybody consistently impressing you so far through 2 weeks?
Fadal Brown, Isaac Gross, Mike Hilton, Trey Elston, you know, all of those guys are leading our defense like they should. You know, offensively, Evan Ingram's a really good leader. We're still, Jalen Walton's had some really exciting runs, limiting his reps somewhat. Strings had a really good camp, and those kind of stand out on the offensive side. Robert Conyers is doing well. Vaughn Cooper's had a really good camp too.
How have your quarterbacks responded in 11-on-11 in those type of situations?
Gosh, same thing, you know, right now. I mean, I kind of have in my mind who's the leader right now after, I guess this was practice 12. Based on the totality of what we've seen. But you give, you know, if your spectrum is just one practice, like leaving there today, I have some mixed feelings. So we'll see if what I'm feeling inside continues to be, you know, over the course of camp leading up to the game one. We'll see if that continues to be verified or invalidated by practices. Today wasn't quite enough validation for me to say I'm all the way there yet. I have to go watch the film and see. I usually feel probably a little bit different after I watch the film.
What is that person doing to put himself number one, or what's he not doing to not completely validate it?
But making over the course of the 12 practices, he's handled blitzes better, which that may be the ultimate. That's one of the top things you got to look at in a quarterback is how does he handle that. You know, is that a time where the ball comes out carelessly, or is it a time where you're setting the protections right and getting yourself protected to make a throw, standing in there, taking a hit, taking care of the ball, obviously, and then, you know, being efficient in moving the chains. And over the course of 12 practices, you know, I think I know who's done that better, and I've watched closely on the field and in film. And then today, you get another guy that maybe elevated himself a little bit, you know, leaving the practice today. But, you know, again, it'll keep playing itself out, and I'll get the right gut feel.
Do you plan to still take it all the way into the season, or could you name a starter before then?
You know, I don't know. Right now, I would say at earliest it would be game week.
What have you seen so far that would indicate that the run game is improving from last year?
Just the lessening of negative plays. We've had a few explosive runs, but you know, in this league, that typically is not something you live and die by. But it's those that get you off schedule where you can't, you know, you get behind the chains, those -2s, -1s, -3s, and right now I don't see many of those at all. We're getting the +1s, +2s, dirty runs, as we call them, and keeping us somewhat on schedule.
On that same note, what kind of camp has Akeem had so far?
Let's see, we went live last Saturday, I believe. My days run together, and he would have been the highlight of that scrimmage. I mean, the way he ran the ball, very physical, and part of it was tight red zone, and he really made some physical runs.
How are y'all handling right guard right now with Rod out, and what's his situation?
Bale's rotating in there along with you know, several others. I mean, Tyler Putnam and Jordan Sims, and Aaron looks like he's, you know, going to be released to go starting tomorrow, hopefully. So that'll give us another one there. And Durante is also in the mix. So, you know, Rod's rehab looks good. Looks like he's he's got a lot more strength now than you would think he would. So we're optimistic that he's going to be able to recover and get ready to play.
How
mentioned-
tough is it to play with a torn labrum, I guess, for an off? I mean, Durante did a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of kids that have done that. I've had receivers do it before. And you just wear that harness where it is less likely to come out of socket, and it's definitely doable.
Last time we talked to Matt Luke, he was kind of said he was anxious to see Aaron in one-on-ones and kind of how his knee would hold up. From what y'all have seen so far, how's he look?
He got released yesterday to do one-on-ones. I hadn't watched today's tape of one-on-ones. He did not go the team segment, but he did do one-on-one, and provided everything went well there. I think the plan is to rotate him in tomorrow, so I'll have to watch. But yesterday's one-on-one, I mean, he was rusty, but wasn't he didn't leave there with pain or something that we felt good about his body and the way he moved around anyway.
With Fawn having a full year under his belt now, are you seeing him take some steps in spring and in fall?
I think Fawn's had a tremendous offseason. I'm real proud for him. I think he's matured as a man, and he's definitely, it's showing on the field, just a maturity level. And having a year under his belt. I mean, last year, he got here late, was thrown in the fire, and probably never caught his breath. Now, he's handling it in stride like a veteran.
Do you expect Rod to be ready by first game?
I do. But I mean, that's just the way I feel.
Yeah.
Just talking to him and the docs after just a few days of rehab, we're optimistic. Now, whether or not it's wise to play him, I don't know. I'll listen to their advice on that.
Coach, if Aaron were not where you want him to be, how comfortable are you right now with Patterson?
Oh, I'm comfortable with Javon. I mean, he's playing against what I think is one of the better D-lines in the country. He's running with the first groups, and a lot of times, you got Kim Deechie and Woody and those guys lining up on his head. And I mean, there's things he struggles with more than others, just like all freshmen do. But I wouldn't be afraid for him to give some snaps this year.
Has Javon been taking all the first team reps at left guard since Rod's out?
Not since the start of camp, because we kind of had some rotations going on. One practice, Bale would play some there, and then Bale would go to center, and we kind of rotated around. But here recently, yes, he's been taking a lot of the reps with ones.
If Aaron is what you want at left guard, would Javon help at right?
Absolutely. Javon will be prepared to play both should that occur.
What's Liggins' status?
He's we just got to get him well from the hamstring. He was having a phenomenal camp too. Strained his hamstring. It's just something you want to get well. You don't want it to linger on.